Welcome to the deep dive. Look, if you work anywhere near online commerce, you've probably felt the ground shaking lately. But the sources we've dug into suggest the real scale of this earthquake is way bigger than most people realize. For the last couple of years, the big question was always, is AI like ChatGPT going to kill Google search?
Yeah, and the key thing jumping out from the sources is, well, Google didn't wait around to find out. They basically decided to kill their own business model first. It's the biggest change probably to how they make money in 25 years. They're actively, taking apart the very system that brought in over $200 billion a year from search ads.
Whoa, hold on. Killing it. That sounds drastic. Dismantling something that brings in $250 billion. That signals like an existential threat level of concern, doesn't it? Is this some calculated gamble or just pure panic? What's the cost, the disruption of tearing that down?
It seems very calculated, actually. Born out of necessity, you could say. The sources are pretty clear. The risk of switching is huge, sure. But the risk of not changing, that looks fatal to them. The real insight here is Google's changing the main way they measure ad success. It's shifting from a simple click.
To click, yeah. I think everyone tracks.
Exactly. From a click to a conversation segment. That flips the most valuable metric in your business on its head almost overnight.
Okay, so that's the mission for this deep dive then. Understanding why they'd cannibalize their own cash cow, figuring out the new rules for ads inside Google's AI mode, and critically, what specific things you need to be doing right now to actually capitalize on this shift.
Right. And we're not just talking about, a new feature or a software update. This is fundamental. It's a re-architecture of how Google makes money, how users find information. They're betting that owning the future of search, even if it means kind of wrecking their present, is the only way forward. And that huge revenue number, that tells you just how serious the threat from outside feels to them.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The catalyst. Why now? Why this massive, probably painful change right at this moment?
Well, it really boils down to speed and the user. ChatGPT hitting 700 million active users in just 3 years. That kind of growth. It forced Google's hand. It showed a shift in user behavior that the old search model just couldn't monetize well.
Right. For, what, 2.5 decades? The machine was perfect, wasn't it? User types something, gets a list of blue links, Google gets paid if they click a sponsored one. Simple.
Super simple. But this new behavior, the one these large language models encourage, it's conversational. People aren't just looking for 10 links to click through anymore. They're having a dialogue, a deeper exchange. They ask follow-ups. They want nuance. They get the synthesized context they need without having to leave and piece it together from 10 different websites.
And Google saw that.
Yeah.
They saw their own users, over 100 million of them already using the AI features, and realized, okay, we need to own this conversation, not just be the exit ramp.
Exactly. And they're thinking it's commercially quite brilliant, even if it looks a bit like self-sabotage from the outside. Keeping users engaged longer inside their ecosystem, that's potentially way more profitable long-term than just sending them off somewhere else. Deeper engagement in these AI results means, well, exponentially more chances to show super relevant ads and gather much richer data about what the user really wants, their deeper intentions.
And this isn't some far-off future thing. The sources are pointing to a full ad rollout in AI mode happening before Q4 of 2025. So this transition is basically underway, the old playbook, already out of date.
Definitely. Which brings us to maybe the most critical shift for anyone advertising, this intent revolution. How ads target people is changing radically. It's moving away from single keywords to the full context of the conversation.
Okay, let's unpack that, because that sounds like a massive change for anyone relying on Google to find customers. If behavior is conversational, the keyword, as we knew it, is kind of dead, isn't it?
That narrative search idea, it really confirms a, frankly, terrifying new reality for marketers.
Yeah.
The keywords reign is over. Just look at that running shoe analogy the sources mentioned. It shows a huge gap in data quality.
Right, the old search, keyword focused, someone types. Running shoes, simple, maybe a bit vague, you don't know much about them. Beginner, pro, just looking.
Exactly. But the AI mode search, it's a story. The user types. Okay, I'm trained for my first marathon. I overpronate quite a bit. What one of these shoes would be best for my gait? And I've got a budget around $300.
Wow, okay, that second one tells you everything. Beginner, specific foot problem, clear budget, big goal. The sources called that intent signal something like 10 times richer than what we ever got from just keywords.
Precisely. 10 times richer is a good way to put it. So your ad doesn't just show up when someone types running shoes. It shows up when the AI figures out from the whole conversation that the user needs your specific kind of shoe. Even if they never typed your brand name or your target keywords. The AI is reading the need, not just matching text.
And this is where it gets even more powerful, or maybe slightly unnerving. The agentic future. That's a term popping up a lot in the sources. The AI isn't just finding answers, it's becoming an agent. What does agentic actually mean here?
Agentic, in this context, means the AI can act or make transactions autonomously for the user. Think of it like an assistant. It can do complex things, book the flight, reserve the table, maybe even complete the purchase of those running shoes, all based on the chat.
So the implication there is huge.
Yeah.
Very soon, your potential customer might not even visit your website. The AI agent just handles the transaction. The user might never leave the Google interface.
Which totally redefines what a click is worth, right? And it underlines why the old ways of optimizing your campaigns are now basically useless.
Okay, so if the old playbook's dead,
Yeah.
what does winning look like now? How do you get the AI agent to pick your brand? This brings us to section 3, the new playbook. What do people need to do?
Well, the new game is all about feeding the AI the right data and building what the sources call a comprehensive brand profile. The AI is essentially stalking your brand now. It's looking at your whole digital footprint. Your website content, yes, but also your customer reviews, your social media posts, the consistency across everything, all to build this detailed profile of your business.
That's a big shift. It means the AI is using signals from places we didn't really think mattered directly for ad ranking before. And this profile directly impacts whether your ad gets shown in these conversations.
Absolutely. The sources use a contrast, like think of a brand like Rolex. Every single touch point reinforces luxury, precision, quality, super consistent. Now compare that to a business with maybe an outdated website, really inconsistent social media, maybe some iffy reviews.
That second business is basically training the AI not to pick them. If your digital presence is messy or sends mixed signals or shows poor service, the AI sees that and thinks, maybe this isn't the best recommendation for this user with high intent.
Exactly right. And that's why these newer campaign types, like Performance Max, PMax, and the new Max for search, they're not really optional anymore. They're built specifically to feed this AI system. And crucially, they automatically show ads in AI mode. So if you're not using them, you're invisible to those first 100 million users having these rich conversational searches. Ads are now competing on conversation relevance.
Which leads right into the second piece of this new playbook, what Google is calling feed hygiene, which sounds polite, but it's basically garbage in, garbage out, right? Your product data needs to be rich, specific, up-to-date.
Yeah, exactly. Let's use the laptop example they mentioned. A user asks, what's the best laptop for video editing under $1,500? Your product feed can't just list screen size and processor model. That's not enough anymore.
It needs more context, like processing power specifically for 4K rendering, graphics card capabilities, maybe even mentioning creative use cases. The AI needs that richer contextual data to connect the user's specific need from the conversation to your actual product.
Precisely. And this changes what your Google Ads account is. It's not just an ad platform anymore. It's fundamentally an AI training system. Your job shifts. You stop obsessing over individual keywords and bids, and you focus instead on giving the AI the right instructions, telling it what success really looks like for your business.
Okay, so that means rethinking conversion tracking is critical. If you only track, say, newsletter signups, the AI will just get you more signups, even if they never buy anything. But if you track conversions that become actual paying customers, or even better, repeat high lifetime value customers.
And then the AI learns. That's what you value. That's the goal.
Yeah.
You're essentially teaching it to find your best customers.
Yeah.
You move from being like the frontline soldier tweaking bids to being the CEO setting the strategy for the AI. Reward it for finding gold, not just lead. And this is where that compound interest idea comes in. The system learns, maybe just a little bit every single week. But those small improvements, they compound over time. It builds this huge advantage, making it almost impossible for competitors who start late to ever catch up.
Right. Adapt now, start training your AI now, and you build a competitive moat that just gets wider and deeper every single day. Okay, this all makes sense, but it leads to the big kind of looming unanswered question here. If the AI keeps people talking within Google longer, doesn't that just mean fewer clicks going out to actual websites?
It absolutely does, or at least it seems highly likely. And that's the financial tightrope Google's walking. For 25 years, their whole ad business was built on charging for that click. If clicks go down significantly, well, they have to find a new way to charge advertisers, and probably pretty quickly.
Which could mean
Right.
charging per impression when your product shows up in the AI summary. Or maybe even charging per conversion that happens right there inside AI mode, facilitated by the agent.
That seems like a very plausible direction, especially the conversion-based model. But here's the flip side, the opportunity. While the charging model might be up in the air, the intent behind the interactions is way, way stronger. So the clicks that do still happen, they'll come from people who've just had maybe a 5-minute detailed chat with the AI about their exact needs, budget, preferences.
So fewer clicks overall, perhaps, but the clicks you do get could have conversion rates that are through the roof because the qualification, the intent is so much higher. That's the potential win for businesses that get this right early.
Precisely. That's the payoff. This whole shift, it's moving us away from just matching keywords to understanding deep conversational intent. It's all about large language model optimization now, LLM optimization. So the key takeaway for you listening right now is the immediate need to focus on rich, contextual data in your feeds and on your site. Absolute brand consistency across every single place your brand appears online, and really meticulously tracking those high-value conversions that actually drive your business forward.
That really is the new playbook for surviving and hopefully thriving in this AI-driven search world. And as always, it leaves us with one final, maybe slightly provocative thought to chew on as you start adapting your strategy.
Yeah, if this AI really does become an effective agent, booking things, buying things, making reservations for the user, and if the customer potentially never even needs to visit your website to complete that transaction, then what is the long-term value of your brand website itself, beyond just being a really good, consistent, high-quality data feed for Google's AI? That's something to really think about. What does your primary digital asset become in that future?